Welcome back, painting friends. Today we're going to paint a picture of a foggy river in the morning. Colors you're going to need: black, white. I kind of mixed my light blue and my teal together. Yellow, brown, and green. I always have my favorite 4 brushes at my studio. I've got my 1-inch flat brush, my 10-6, and 1 round brush. Don't forget to have a cup of water and a rag for keeping those clean. So let's go ahead and get started. Anytime you're painting like a smoky kind of look, you want to add some gray to your paints. So that means you're going to mix up a really nice gray color with your black and your white. And I wouldn't use all of your black and your white. I would just, grab a little bit of each and make a spot on your canvas or on your palette to mix those in. But you're going to want to have a gray color to mix in to add that little smoky edge to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix in that gray as well as that teal and blue. Mix those in together to get a nice smoky blue color. And here we have that smoky color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line about halfway across my canvas. And I'm going to go ahead and paint that line, everything below that line, in with this smoky color. I don't have to go all the way over here because I do have some rocks in the picture. But then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that brush, I'm going to wipe it off, I'm going to add some white, and I'm going to start in the back and add a little bit of white as it kind of comes up towards the front of the canvas. And then it's going to get darker towards the front. I'm going to use that exact same color, but I'm going to add more white to it to lighten it up because this is going to be my sky color. So everything above that, I can make that lighter blue. I think I want that sky to be a little bit more gray. So I'm going to add some more of that gray to it. Mix it up again. Still want that blue color in there, but I really want it to be more gray. Then I can take a little bit of white and again, up at the top, I'm going to add some more white. Let it just kind of drift down to the bottom. Okay, so our background is finished. We're going to let this dry. When we come back, we're going to lay out where our shores and our trees are going to go. With a dry background, I'm now going to add in where my rocks are going to be. And this idea came to me after my Boy Scouts and I went to Northern Tier up in Canada. And this is one of the pictures we took. It was the morning we woke up from our first night on the water. So I have got some brown that of course I'm mixing in with my gray because I want it to be a smoky color, a foggy color. Got my number 10 round brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of snake through here. Okay. So I'm going to start probably about right here and I'm going to make a big bump out. And then I'm going to make another big bump right there. So this whole space over here, we could just go ahead and paint in this brown color. And then over here on this side, it's going to start pretty far over and I'm just going to make a small little line. And then from that line, I'm just going to make a couple of little divots. I think I'm going to want this one to go further out. So now that we have our landmass kind of laid out, we're going to go ahead and add some texture to it so that we can then put our trees on top. So as things get further away, they're going to get a little bit darker. So I'm going to take a little bit of black and drop it in some of these back areas. Just kind of brush it in. I'm even going to go along the edge because that's where you're going to see a lot of the tree line. And then with that same brush, I'm going to start right here with this front rock, and I'm going to add some white to it because this front rock, it actually sits in front and above most of these other ones. So I'm going to give it a nice white crisp edge to it. And then I'm just going to take my paintbrush with the browns, the blacks, the whites, and I'm just going to kind of tap on here some different layers of color. That's a great little rock. Now the rest of the guys behind it, you can't really see as well. So I'm just going to add a couple of little spots of texture, but I don't need to go as crazy with that. We just don't want it to be a solid, boring color. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, but the only area we really need it is down towards the water because this other side has a lot more green to it. So we're just going to add some of these little textured dots down towards the edge of the water. I'm just going to take my brush and just kind of gently smooth that back out again. Now let's go ahead and lay some of our trees out. I'm going to grab some black and some brown and mix together. I really want a dark color for my tree trunks. And I'm going to start off with my number 1 round brush, which this guy does not get a lot of love from me. But I'm just going to make on this bump out right here a couple of skinny, tall trees. And then I'm going to mix that green in with some of that gray color. So remember, we keep thinking about adding these grays to all of our colors to give them a little bit more of a foggy, smoky haze. And then I can take that smoky haze and just kind of, this is still my number 1 round brush because these are tiny trees right here. I'm just going to add some green going up and down them. And when I do that, all I do is I take my paintbrush and I just kind of dot and dab, going in like a zigzag line down. And then I'm going to add a couple back here as well. So again, that really nice dark brown with my number 10 round brush. Just a couple of more, and these guys are going to be even smaller because they're back further. And then we're going to add some texture to our edges just to show that there's a lot of trees in that space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rag, and I'm just going to find like a part of my rag I can kind of crunch up. I'm going to grab some black paint and some of that green, and I'm going to go from here up to this corner, just making a couple of really, really, really dark, messy spots just to kind of fill in that space. We know there's a forest there. We just need some forest-ish colors in front of our trees. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing over here, just kind of going up this edge all the way to the top. Now that we have that done, we're going to go in and we're going to lay out some of our more defined trees. So over here, I'm just going to add a couple in there. I'm going to switch over to my number 6 round brush, that same really dark brown color. And I'm going to make one tree kind of come in this way. Another one going right up through here. And then over here on this side, I'm just going to throw some random trees in. Okay, they do not have to be close together. They don't have to be straight from my photo. I mean, as they get further back, they're going to get smaller. But as they're closer to the front, they could be a little bit taller, even maybe just going just over these trees right here. But don't do what I just did and leave exact spacing. Look at this. There's like a 1.5 inch space in between each of these. Don't do that. Let your mind play a little bit. And then the same thing, I'm going to go in with that greenish mix, and I'm going to just start kind of dotting at the top, zigzagging my way down. Some of your greens, you might want to change them to be a little bit brighter or a little bit duller. Maybe you can even add a little bit of yellow into some of them to give them a little highlight. But you're just going to kind of zigzag down the bottom of those trees, making sure that they are wider at the base than at the top. And remember, feel free to leave some open space. You might be able to see some of those tree trunks in the middle, and that's okay. All right, I'm going to pop myself into speed, and we are going to finish these trees up. With our trees finished, let's go ahead and add in some of our ground detail. So same kind of thing, I'm going to grab that greenish gray color. I'm just going to put some areas of mossy grasses in here. There's quite a few areas of greenery on these little islands. And I'm just taking my number 10 round brush, just kind of dotting and dabbing some greens in. And now here comes the fun part, is everything we have on our island, we're going to take now and we're going to put it into the grass. So that means if there's a tree right here, I'm going to take a line, sorry, not the grass, the lake. I'm going to take the line and I'm just going to make a line down here. And I have one that's right here. And so I'm going to go in here and add in these itty bitty little lines. And then with that little bit of black on my brush. I'm then going to take that brush, number 10 round brush, and just almost barely touching it. I'm just going to zigzag back and forth. So I'm not dotting like I was before. Now I'm just kind of laying the lines across. I want it to look like there might be some movement in the water. I'm going to take a little bit of brown and mix it with a little bit of white. I'm going to lay in some sticks that were in the water. A little bit of brown, a little bit of white. That helps it look a little bit more like maybe some, waterlogged sticks. And as it kind of goes onto the shore, we can add a little bit more dark to it. Since I got the color on there already, I think I'm just going to add some of it onto here for some of the extra color. All right, last little bit I'm going to do is wipe that brush off, number 6 round brush. I'm just going to add a little bit of white paint on my brush. I mean, the tiniest littlest line, so I'm almost not even touching my canvas. I'm going to fill in that backspace with a little bit lighter white. I'm just going to brush it out as it comes down. And there we have it. When you're finished, you need to sign your name in a color that's going to show up on your canvas. I always put my initials in the bottom right corner. Now remember, I'm never going to see what you're painting at home unless you take a picture of it and you post it to my Facebook page, Painting with a Purpose. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Painting with a Purpose, so you are kept up to date on all of my tutorials. And remember, as always, stay kind, stay creative, and stay safe. Have a great day, friends. Bye now.